Hello there, we have Lakshmi and we have Dunya here, and we're going to show you some motions in the messaging app. So when we open up the messaging app, there's already a motion. There's already a zoom in kind of motion, zoom in dolly, I believe it's called. And then, for example, the types of motion that we can see in the messaging app are, one, the trigger. So the trigger, the way it works is that if we hold and we press on a messaging app, it displays the messages up front just by pressing and holding, even though you can go in and see the messaging if you just press on it. That's a trigger. If we hold and we press, and it displays the messages. Another example of motion in UI UX are the rules of UI UX. So if we go in to a message, we can see that you cannot send more than 20 photos on the messaging app. It's constrained. So this will take a little bit, but once we get to 20 photos, you can see that it turns a little bit gray, and you are unable to select more photos unless you deselect other photos. And you can select other photos there that way. But you can only add 20 photos, and that's a constraint, that's a rule in the messaging app. Yeah, I'll just select them. Now, another example of motion in UI UX is feedback. Now, if this were to load, we can see that there's presenting feedback telling you how much time it has left to load. And another form of feedback is when it says it's delivered, so you have to wait a little while longer for it to say delivered, but that's another form of feedback that has not shown up yet. But another form of feedback could be the reaction you can post on a message. So over here, if you hold and press on the message, it displays a variety of types of reactions. We have love, like, dislike, laughing emoji, exclamation point, etc. And so we can react, and other people can react to our messages this way. And it sends out a little noise, like a little ding. Haha. There we go. Another example of motion in UI UX, in one of the motion principles, is the loops and the modes. So one example of that would be the back button. That's an example. And an example of real-time and non-time, as we've seen multiple different ways in this app, is an example of non-real-time motion would be if we click on the app and then it takes us to the app while we're waiting. An example of real-time motion would be if we press edit, select messages, we can go and drag down and select messages as we drag down, and as we drag up, we can deselect messages and press done. That's all, guys.
Yeah.